Welcome and good afternoon. This is Commish Orr. Today we're going to do a little update on the next round of my season ticket baseball best of the decades tournament, the 1930s. Played another round of games last week, and so I just thought I'd give you a brief update of who advanced and who didn't. We can take a look. First of all, I guess before we head into that, you can head over to baseballmaelstrom.com if you want to follow the action. You'll come to the homepage here, which I have two projects going on right now, and I kind of alternate back and forth between them. So currently you see my payoff pitch stuff right here on the front page. But if you click on Best of the 30s tournament, you'll get to the Best of the 30s page where you can get access to the stats and the box scores and all of that fun stuff. And the bracket. So here's what the bracket looks like currently after the last round. We played this round of games here. So you can see that Philadelphia Athletics beat the Washington Nationals, or Senators, whichever you want to call them, 3-1 in the winners bracket. So Philadelphia has advanced to the finals here, if you will, or the league championship series. Meanwhile, down in the losers bracket, the 1939 New York Yankees swept the 1935 Detroit Tigers, thus eliminating the Tigers from the tournament. On the National League side, you can see that the 1935 Chicago Cubs and the 1931 St. Louis Cardinals, that series went the distance. It's best of 5 series and went the distance, and we'll see a little bit more on that here in a second. Meanwhile, down in the losers bracket, the 1934 New York Giants topped the 1939 Cincinnati Reds 3-1, and the Reds are now eliminated from the tournament. So that just kind of gives you a breakdown here. Let me head over to show you the stats, if you will, or the standings. Now, this shows standings, even though it's a tournament. We don't really follow the standings. However, this also gives you a good overview of team batting and team pitching and that kind of thing. And you can see the top American League team in terms of batting average, at least, is the Philadelphia Athletics. They, as a team, are hitting .337 with a slugging of .512, on base of .411. So they are just dominating here offensively. They're in a tie with Detroit for the league lead in home runs, and now Detroit's been eliminated, so that takes care of that. But look how many doubles they have. 31 doubles is almost twice as many as the next closest team. So yeah, just crazy stuff. And they're walking at a decent clip too. 40 walks. The Nationals have 49, of course, so that's a little bit higher, but still, just 40 walks. Now, not much stealing going on here in the American League. And I don't know what that is. They didn't steal as much back then. If you look at even the real stolen base totals, the team leaders had maybe double digits, but not very high double digits. So they weren't stealing a ton anyway. And I kind of attribute this to most of these teams have good catchers. And a catcher with a good arm, since I'm using the auto manager feature, a lot of times the runner's not even going to attempt to steal because the catcher arm is too good. So I think it's a combination of factors kind of at work here. A, teams didn't steal as much normally, and then B, these are the best of the best, so the catchers tend to have good arms and therefore prevent teams from stealing on them to begin with. So just a little interesting side note there. If we look at pitching, the New York Yankees have the best pitching in terms of ERA, 3.06 ERA. They've been allowing the fewest base runners per 9 innings here. Not striking out that many, only 23 strikeouts, but compared to, let's say, Washington, 45 strikeouts there, but also not walking very many either, 22 walks. The Nationals are walking twice that many. They haven't allowed very many home runs, just a couple of home runs, which is, also helping them out here. But that's on the American League side. If we go to the National League side, we can see that, again, we're going to look at just the batting and the pitching here. The Chicago Cubs have the best batting average in the National League at .313. marginally the best on base percentage, 359, compared to the Giants' 358 here, but not kind of near the bottom in slugging. And that's because they've only hit 3 homers in all of their games here. They played 8 games. They've only hit 3 home runs. So not a lot of power in the Chicago lineup so far in the tournament. Compared to, let's say, the Giants, who have hit 13. So, again, not a lot of power. That's why their slugging's down. Not a lot of even extra base hits. I mean, they have 12 doubles. The Giants have more doubles and way more home runs than they have, which is why the Giants lead the league in slugging at 518. If we look at the pitching, once again, the Giants are on top there, a 3.26 ERA. Just doing pretty well, and that's after allowing 10 homers. So they've allowed a lot of home runs, but a lot of those haven't resulted. Haven't resulted in 3 RBI or even a grand slam or anything like that. They're still keeping the ERA low despite allowing so many home runs, and that's in 9 games. So it's not like they're allowing an insane number of homers. Maybe 1 a game. Just a little bit over 1 a game. So not too bad. So that's what you see here. The worst ERA, the Pittsburgh Pirates, they've already been eliminated, of course. The Reds had the second best, and they were already eliminated here. Cubs and Cardinals are kind of in the middle of that pack, and all of those teams are advancing. So just a little bit of a recap of the recent games, at least. I'm going to blow this up a little bit higher so you can see. If we look at the Yankees Detroit series, here's the sweep, and none of the games were even really close. Now, the Yankees got swept by Washington in the first round, which was surprising. The Yankees come in as the top-ranked team overall in all of Major League Baseball, 1939 Yankees. Of course, I'm using the ELO ratings to rank these teams. In any event, the Yankees won the first game 9-1 against Eldon Ocker, and that was Red Ruffing was on the mound for that one. So they had good pitching combined with good hitting to carry them through in game 1 here. Game 2 was the closest game, and even that one the Yankees won 5-2. Now it was tied until the 7th inning here, when the bottom of the 7th, the Yankees scored a couple of runs to take the lead, and then added an insurance run in the 8th as well. And again, they had a couple more homers in that game as well. Lefty Gomez pitching that one. And then the third game was pretty much another blowout, as the Yankees won that one 9-2. Detroit offense just couldn't get anything going, and the Detroit pitching couldn't stop the Yankees, who were kind of getting revenge for the first round sweep that they faced. Interestingly enough, actually, let's go over to the Washington series here with the Philadelphia Athletics. Here we can see in game 1, Philadelphia took game 1 5-2. Not much of a battle there. Washington only managed 4 hits the entire game. So Philadelphia took game 1 pretty easily. Game 2 was a close one. And Philadelphia edged this one out 8-7. The teams battled back and forth for most of the game. Washington getting 3 runs here in the 7th to take the lead over Philadelphia, 7-5 at that point. But then Philadelphia getting 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th here to kind of seal the deal. So they take game 2. Now, game 3 was the game that Washington ended up winning, and it took them extra innings to do it, as they won in the bottom of the 10th here to top Philadelphia 3-2. Lefty Grove, I believe, had the complete game loss in this one, surprisingly. And then in the final game, it was another blowout, as Philadelphia topped Washington 13-3. 6-run third inning. They had scored 11 by the time the third inning even got there, and the game was pretty much over at that point. Rube Wahlberg with the win, he improved to 2-0. And so, interestingly, if we look back at the if we look back here at the bracket, we can see that there's going to be a rematch here in the losers bracket with Washington losing to Philadelphia. They now play the Yankees in a rematch. Once again, they had swept the Yankees in here earlier in the tournament. So it'll be interesting to see. The Yankees are coming off of sweeping the Detroit Tigers here. It'll be interesting to see this series and what happens there. Let's head over to the National League and look at those recaps. First, we have Cubs Cardinals that we'll take a look at here. And remember, this one went the distance. And St. Louis came out early. The Cubs, by the way, are the top-rated or top-ranked National League team. And St. Louis came out early with this 11-4 win. They pretty much were in control the whole game, scoring 6 runs in the final 2 innings even. Burley Grimes picking up the win in that one against Bill Lee, I believe, for Chicago. So that kind of set the tone early. And then in the very next game, once again, the Cardinals just demolished the Cubs, 11-0 this time. Syl Johnson for the Cardinals had the shutout, I believe. And, the Cardinals took a 2-0 series lead here, needing only one more win to advance. However, we headed to St. Louis, and the Cardinals struggled in Game 3. So the Cubs topped them 7-2 in this one to give them some life. And then in the very next game, a little bit of a closer game, the Cubs won that one 5-3. Again, great pitching by Charlie Root, I believe, in this one. Gave the Cubs the win and tied the series at 2 games apiece, heading into Game 5, and it was a blowout. The Cubs didn't even give St. Louis a chance in this one. They got to Burley Grimes early. I think he exited in the 4th inning, but not before all the damage was done here. The Cubs scored 11 runs in the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th inning here, and pretty much cruised the rest of the way. They had 22 hits in this one, basically just demolishing the Cardinals. The teams combined for 8 errors, 4 apiece, which was kind of interesting. And so the Cubs come from behind down 2 games to none. They come back and win the next 3 to advance in that series. Next up, we head to the Giants and Reds series. Let me see where the beginning of the series is. So, starting Game 1 here, the Giants topped the Reds 6-2. Again, not very close. The Reds only scored 1 run through the first 8 innings. They got 1 in the 9th, but again, by then, the game was pretty much wrapped up. You'll see Mel Ott, 6 homers in 6 games here. He hit a home run here in the first inning. So we'll kind of keep an eye on him as we go through this. Cincinnati did take Game 2 of the series, 5-4. Again, this one kind of went back and forth with each team scoring a run in the 9th, but the Giants couldn't score another run to tie it, and so Cincinnati takes this one 5-4. Very close game. Berger with 3 homers in this one for Cincinnati kind of led the offense. He hit a home run in the 2nd, a home run in the 5th, and another one in the 9th. All solo shots, but was really the big difference here in this game. Now the next game saw all Giants as Carl Hubble shut out the Reds, and the Giants took this one 5-0, scoring a run in each of the last 4 innings. And look here, Mel Ott with his 7th home run in 8 games so far for the Giants. Now the Giants with up 2 games to 1, and we had another nail biter here in the last game of the series. Both teams scored a run in the 2nd. The Giants, the difference with this one, Giants scored another run in the 5th here to win this one 2-1. The Reds couldn't get more than 4 hits here. If we look back, other than the last 2 games, actually, the Reds, 6 hits in this game and only 4 in this game. So the offense just kind of went quiet, and they get eliminated here. So going back to the, going back here to the bracket, we can see that there once again will be a rematch here as the Cardinals topped the Giants in the earlier round. Took them 5 games to do so, and now there will be another rematch here between those two teams to advance to see who plays the Cubs for the League Championship Series. So we're making some progress here. The other thing I wanted to show are the batting leaders. So this is the overall batting leaders, not separated out by American or National League, just the overall leaders. Give you an idea, Al Simmons leading all hitters with a 537 average. Now, again, this is that is in 9 games, so pretty short, small sample size, but still just nuts. Mel Ott, as we would expect, with 7 homers in 9 games, I believe, leading with slugging percentage here. Jimmy Dykes from Philadelphia leading in on base. Philadelphia offense just leading many of those categories. They have several leaders in batting average. Al Simmons is second in slugging. They have the top 2 spots in on base. So just leading many of those categories, as I mentioned. Mel Ott leading in homers, runs scored, RBI, leading all of those categories. A couple of Philadelphia hitters leading in doubles here. Washington leading in walks, though. They're definitely getting on base at a good clip. And again, not many stolen bases overall, but many of those that are stealing are Washington players, so that's kind of interesting to note as well. Now, if we look at the pitching side, ERA is a little skewed because you have Cy Blanton, who I think only had 1 start. Pittsburgh's eliminated already, so he didn't allow a run in his only start, and therefore is on top of the leaderboard in terms of ERA. But Larry French from the Cubs right behind him at a 1.69 ERA. Lefty Gomez, 2.12. Again, this is combined. Many pitchers with 2 wins. Tommy Bridges from Detroit leading with 16 strikeouts. Of course, Detroit now being eliminated, that will change pretty quickly. Saves, not very many saves overall because pitchers just went deeper into games in this era. And so not a lot of save opportunities or saves to speak of. Now, looking at the opponent batting average, Red Ruffing, opponents are only hitting 164 against him. The Giants have a couple of pitchers in here. Roy Parmalee, 186, and Hal Schumacher, 197. So, again, Giants keeping their opponents in check here. And, Syl Johnson had that shutout. So his walks and hits per inning pitched is .938 to kind of lead things there. SI, of course, with only 1 start. So that's kind of what you see for the league leaders. Once again, if you want to follow the action, you can head over to baseballmaelstrom.com. You can click on Best of the 30s Tournament. You can click on stats here. You can see game recaps. You can see, if you click on this, you'll get the score sheets and the box scores for all of those games. Here's an example of one. This was the 14-2 Cubs win over the Cardinals, where they had 22 hits. So you can see the box score on the left and the score sheet on the right to kind of follow the action if you're interested in that. I think that's it. Just wanted to provide a quick recap for everybody. I'm going to be playing this round next, which is the Yankees, Nationals, or Senators, whichever you want to call them, series, and the Cardinals, Giants series here in the National League. The winner of each of those will advance to play in the League Championship Series. And of course, the League Championship Series will be a 7-game series, best of 7, leading to the World Series to determine the best team of the 1930s. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. If you have any questions on the league, leave those down in the comments. Let me know what you think. And until next time, have a great evening.